Hello friends, in this video I will demonstrate you how you can use Tom Demark Trendlines and Tom Demark Trendline Breakout Projections. You use shadows to connect the trend lines, to draw trend lines, and you use higher highs or lower lows of approximately equal high, two recent high highs or two recent lower lows. Here it's pretty clear. For example, you can use two high highs here. You connect them, you see, and then you measure from the highest close candle to the trend line. Here you have exactly 227 pips, 228 pips. And then you project from breakout candle 228 pips. Here we even overdid it a little bit more, so we did 234 pips, but 228 pips exactly. You see, price broke the trend, uptrend, and moved down 228 pips. This is Tom Demark projection. And look at breakout candle always. Watch breakout candles because their shape or their size can tell you if this is a true break or not. This is pretty good candle. You see, it's doesn't have shadow. If you would have a candle like this with a shadow or rejection shadow, it means the trend breakout wouldn't be true. But here we have very nice candle which tells that the breakout is true. And before the breakout you had this small pullback. That's also one of the identifiers of a true or false breakouts. So you can always enter straight after the candle close or upon the pullback or upon the retracement and target the TD projection or Tom Demark projection is 228 pips down to the downside. That's how it works. Let's take another example. Let's go here. We connect two lower highs. See, by the shadows. Tom Demark taught to do it by the shadows. And this is the breakout candle. Which didn't have much shadow. Well, the breakout occurred here. We had a sort of a gap. Usually if you have a gap, very tiny candle, and then continued by the big candle or just a clear gap, then it's a true breakout as well. A gap breakout is a good example as well of a true breakout. So we measure here from the lowest close to the trend line, and you have 225 pips, and we project it from the breakout point 225 pips. Exactly, you see, exactly the price moved that amount. It's kind of similar to double tops and double bottom projections, but somewhat different, you see. Of course, it won't work out always, but most of times this thing works. And let's take some example with gap breakout. Let's see where you have. It's not so visible well in Forex and gap breakouts, but they do happen once in a while. Let's go on the daily chart and see if we can find some gaps, breakouts with gaps. We had the recent one on Euro USD. Let's do Euro USD example, and I'll show you the gap breakout on Euro USD. So on daily, it's a good example. Here you see we connect not this one, refresh, it's not here, you see it. We connect two lower highs, and here you see a gap between two candles. It's a doji candle, kind of very small candle, but it's also seen as a gap. And it's another example that the breakout is true. We also had this pullback before the breakout, and this candle closed right on trend line, which is also a good indication that this breakout is true. So we expect here a price to move how much to the upside, and the lowest close is here on the daily, and we have here 479 pips. So we expect price to move from here 479 pips to the upside and to this level 279 pips. That is the Tom Demark projection. From this breakout you connect it to recent shadows. Usually it works pretty nice, and but the high highs or lower lows have to be of equal size. Here we can do another projection, connect two high or two lower highs, and the lowest close here is here. We measure it 278 pips. Breakout point was here. Yeah, and it overdid it. You can also use shadows. Actually, Demark suggested using shadows, but it's not always working with shadows, but sometimes it works. You can measure from the lowest shadow to the trend line, like here, and you have 316 pips. Well, it did and overdid it, 316 pips, it overdid it. And usually you have this kind of a dragon pattern with a tail. After it reaches a breakout projection, your price starts fading out like this, as you see, and then it continued higher. And here you also had as example good confirmation, a morning star pattern, morning star. You see price closed here above the trend, and it pulled it back because you had a rejection here. You see before the trend breakout you had this rejection candle. It wasn't good sign, that's why you had this kind of, but the second break was pretty good. You had big candle here that went over, and if you have 2-3 candles, bullish candles in a row, it's a good sign. So that's how it works with some Tom Demark projections. Highs have to be of equal height, like let's see here. Pretty didn't do it here, not always working out, but here we connected two recent highs. This is not a good high, you see, it doesn't have enough candles below it, so this is a good high, but this wasn't good high to connect. So but this and this one, they are pretty the same size, so, and you have to connect the most recent ones. So this is a kind of fits better together because they have to be of equal height. And if you connect the lowest low or shadow, yeah, it overdid it, 165 pips. So you have to connect the most recent ones and project from the trend line. They have to be clear lower highs or high highs. But here you have pretty clear ones as well. Let's connect those two. And you see price broke here and then it pulled it back, and then you had the long shadow. You always see a fight at the trend line, and you can use the lowest the next high for a stop, or you can put the stop here. So this work it out. Highest close candle was this one, so we measure 157 pips, and then we project from the breakout point. Yeah, it overdid it. Yeah, that's approximately how you use it. Here you can connect also to lower highs, yeah, and project it from the breakout point. You measure here from the lowest close to the trend line, 186 pips. 186 pips, it overdid it, and then it went even higher. So that's how it works. You can use it for your benefit when you trade. Here you can connect to lower highs, then we measure from the lowest close to the trend line, 168 pips. Uh, 148 pips, a little bit. Well, it reached it 200 pips eventually, but pull it back. Yeah, so that's how it works. Here you had the rejection. You see, this is not a good sign when you have this rejection upon the trend line. You would need to have a clear breakout candle. That is a good sign. So here it's a really nice example. Here you have two clear lower highs. They are very distinct. You see, they are not the kind of clear lower highs with equal amount of candles below the lowest highs. Each has about the same amount of candles. And breakout candle is really nice. It closed below. It doesn't have a long shadow. And you had a nice retest with a rejection. It's a really nice example. And then you merge the high from the highest close to the trend line, 193 pips, and you project from the breakout candles, 193 pips. Yeah, you see it did 215 pips. It actually did the shadow projection. If you measure from the shadow, 203 pips. Yeah, 224 pips. It's overdid it. And you see, when it reaches the target price, pulls back very often, or fades out in a tail, you know. So here you also had 3 consecutive bearish candles, which is a kind of good sign, because this is called the qualifier, breakout qualifier. So let's do one more example. Here the highs are pretty the same height, you see, they are of equal highs, and breakout candle is also good. You see, it doesn't have a long shadow. If it would have a long shadow, don't take the breakout. And we measure from the lowest close here to the trend line, 169 pips, and it overdid it, 175 pips, you see, and with a retest. And we had 2 consecutive bullish candles with a retest of trend line. So let's see another example. Here you have 2 high highs. They are pretty distinct and good ones. You have a nice breakout candle which closed beyond the trend line, no shadow, several consecutive bearish candles. It's a good breakout. Here we measure from the shadow. We can measure even from the shadow, but safer from the close. And you have 165 pips, and you projected 165 pips takes you somewhere here. you see, and it's immediate. Good projection, you see, work it out well, and price pulled back immediately after it reached the targets. That's how you use Tom Demark projections and Tom Demark trend lines. All the best to you in your trading.